Okay, continuing Yom Kippur. There's a lot to learn yet. Not about Yom Kippur, about Sukkot. Okay, so yesterday we learned about eating and drinking. That we discussed. So the next thing you're not allowed to do on Yom Kippur, one of the inuyim, one of the afflictions, is called washing. So on Yom Kippur, it's forbidden to even stick your hand into cold water, for that matter. Even part of it's only forbidden if you're doing it for enjoyment. Let's say you have a dirt spot, so you're allowed to wash it. If somebody has an illness, an infection, they need to soak a finger, let's say, so that they're allowed to do that. Now, even when you wake up in the morning, the din is normally you wash nagavasa, so you wash until the wrist, right? But Yom Kippur, you only wash until the end of the fingers. Because more than the end of the fingers, basically, you're not allowed to. There's a few exceptions that we'll learn, but so you can only wash until the end of the fingers. When you go to the bathroom, you only wash until the end of the fingers. If you're washing before davening, you wash until the end of the fingers. The only exception to this rule is, like we mentioned, if somebody's eating bread, let's say they have to eat, or kids, or whatever it is, they need to eat bread on Yom Kippur. So then the din is that they wash until the wrist, like regular. When Kohanim go to wash for Duchner and Birchas Kohanim, they also wash until the wrist. The Levium also that wash their hands. Some people say the Levium wash until here, some people say the whole hand. But the bottom line is that those are the exceptions. Now somebody, by the way, coming back to the eating story that we learned yesterday, if somebody, let's say, has to eat on Yom Kippur, and they have to eat bread, okay, so they have to wash, make a motzi, you don't need two chalas, you don't need lechem mishnah, and you don't have to make kiddush. You're going to be eating, and normally Yom Tov you're not allowed to eat without kiddush, you have to have lechem mishnah, the two chalas, but those are rabbinic institutions that the Chacham said, Yom Kippur, there is no such thing, there's no kiddush, and in davening there is kiddush. I mean, we make Bara Mekadesh, Yom Kippurim, or the word, because we learned in Hilchos Shabbos, the verbal biblical kiddush is when you say Mekadesh Shabbos, or Mekadesh Yisrael v'Yom Kippurim, or whatever it is. But there's no rabbinic kiddush or lechem mishnah on Yom Tov. But in the benching, you say Alavi Avi. Now, even though if you look in a bencher, you're not going to see B'Yom HaKippurim Hazeh, because officially you're not supposed to be eating. But if somebody, by the way, there are opinions that say you don't. But the halacha is, and that's our custom also, that if somebody's eating, you do say Alavi Avi, and you add B'Yom HaKippurim Hazeh. B'Yom Tov Mikra Kodesh Hazeh. Okay, now even when somebody gets up in the morning, okay, so you wash your hands until the knuckles, until the end of the fingers, and then when your fingers are, you're not allowed to wash your face in the morning. You're not allowed to wash your face in Yom Kippur. The only one who's allowed to wash her face, a girl who got married within the last 30 days, a kala that got married within the last 30 days, she's allowed to wash her face in Yom Kippur. One second. She's allowed to wash the face in Yom Kippur. It says she shouldn't look ugly to her new husband. That's what it says in Allah. But even as far as washing the eyes, in Shulchan Aruch it says when your fingers are still damp, then you put them over the eyes to clean the eyes. Now, sometimes in English it's called encrusted. Sometimes in simple language it's called the guk in the eye. Some stuff or whatever. So then that's called a dirt spot. But you can't just wash your face. You can take a little bit of water and wash that particular place of dirt or filth. Okay, somebody who's sick is allowed to wash a kala that we said, okay. Now, there's another thing on Yom Kippur that's called sicha, which means, with a samach, that means smearing. You're not allowed to put on perfumes, you're not allowed to put on deodorants. In Shulchan Aruch it says, even though Shabbos, you are allowed, you can't use stick deodorant, but the spray deodorant, or, that you're allowed to use on Shabbos. But Yom Kippur, even if you're using it to remove dirt, remove a foul smell, you're not allowed to. So Yom Kippur is very strict with all these things of a person, so to speak, afflicting themselves to a certain extent. But when you think about it, and you realize, okay, a whole year we sin, and comes once a year we suffer a little bit, and Hashem forgives all the sins. It might be a worth investment. I mean, I'm not saying you should sin.
What about cologne before?
Before Yom Kippur, you could put on a whole bottle, 10 bottles of cologne. Before Yom Kippur, it's not an issue. On Yom Kippur, then you can't do it. Now, the next thing it's also forbidden on Yom Kippur is what's called Nilas Sandal. You're not allowed to wear shoes. Now, halachically, you can't wear any shoe that has any part of it leather. So you can't wear, sometimes their shoes have a little bit of suede on it, or a little bit leather at the bottom, or upper, bottoms, today they have all these mishigasim. So you have to make sure that there's no leather whatsoever in the shoe. But you can wear everything else of leather. You can wear, except, we mentioned, you can't wear leather socks, because leather socks are called shoes. But you can wear a belt, shirt, pants, skirt, you can wear anything you want leather, except not just shoes, because that's called enjoyment. And because of that we learned, you also don't say the bracha sha'asali kotzarki, in the morning bracha, you omit that, and you put it on the next day when you put it on shoes. Okay, also the last thing that's forbidden on Yom Kippur is marital relations are completely forbidden on Yom Kippur, and therefore it says in Shulchan Aruch that husband and wife should treat each other like during the Nida period, complete separation between the husband and wife on Yom Kippur. Okay, as far as pregnant women and nursing women, we told you that you have to ask your local Orthodox competent rabbi to see when you can eat, when you can't eat, and so on and so forth. Okay, the children also have to be educated in the fasting. That means under 9, they're not allowed to fast. Under 9, it's dangerous for them to fast. Over 9, they should learn to fast, to eat a little bit later than they would normally. Let's say if they eat 10 o'clock, they eat 11 o'clock. Just train them into the fasting thing. By the way, if somebody needs to prepare food, let's say for kids, you need to prepare food, then you're allowed to wash your hands. Wash the food, because then you're not doing it for enjoyment, you're doing it for the cleanliness of the food. So kids, but Lamoshe, they're not allowed to wear leather shoes. That you're not allowed to give, even little babies are not allowed to wear leather shoes. Once a girl is 11 and a boy is 12, rabbinically they have to fast the whole day. Unless if they get sick or whatever, then they could do less than a shear. And another also interesting thing, it says in halacha that even though kids are not allowed to fast in Kippur, but they shouldn't be given sweets, candies, cookies, things like that, because it's a fast day. Really, they should understand, if they're old enough, we're not talking about little babies, we're talking about 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old, that they understand what Yom Kippur is all about to a certain extent. We also don't know what it is. But they understand a little bit, so they should understand, okay, you have to eat, because it's dangerous to fast, but you're not also supposed to have candies and cookies and all that stuff. They should eat what they need to eat. Okay, we said about bracha shas kotzarki. Now on Yom Kippur, again, many people wear a kittel to remind us of Big Day Mesim, and another interesting custom is that, one more important thing. We know that if you touch your shoes, or you tie your shoes, you have to wash your hands. If you're in the middle of davening, you touch your shoe, you have to wash your hands, because you touch the dirty thing, so to speak. Like you scratch your hair, then Yom Kippur, you wash until the end of the fingers. But what happens if you're not wearing leather shoes? You're wearing the material shoes, whatever. So there's an argument in halacha, but the halacha is that even when you tie those shoes, let's say, you also have to wash your hands. Even though it's not leather, it's not a real shoe, but the fact that it's a shoe and you're touching it, so you really have to wash your hands. So people, a lot of times you see middle of davening, tying the shoes, they're touching it. According to halacha, you're not allowed to continue davening or make a bracha until you go wash your hands. And if there's no water around, then it says you rub it on a piece of wood. If there's no water around, you rub it on a piece of wood or something like that. Officially, it's called to cleaning it. Now, those people that wear a kittel, I know a lot of most of them don't, but people that wear a kittel, it's an interesting halacha. This is called a gartel. Gartel is a Yiddish word, okay, for a belt. Now this has absolutely no kedusha in it whatsoever. When it's done, you throw it out into the garbage. Never, huh? Like a yarmulke. People also think there's no kedusha in a yarmulke, in a kippah. There is no kedusha. You see many times a kippah falls on the floor, they pick it up and kiss it. There's no reason to. It's a hat. That's all it is. When your hat falls on the floor, you don't pick it up and kiss it. A yarmulke is the same thing. But a gartel, so even though there's absolutely no kedusha in it, nevertheless, it's a custom. You don't go into the bathroom wearing a gartel. Why? Just like we know, you go into the bathroom, you don't wear a talis. The talis cotton that sits under your shirt you're wearing. So why can you go with that into the bathroom and this talis not into the bathroom? So explanation, halacha is very, just a minute by the way, it's not halacha really. Because a talis is designated for davening. You wear it only during davening. Talis cotton you wear a whole day. So something which is designated exclusively for davening, out of respect to davening, you take it off when you go to the bathroom. But you don't have to make a bracha when you put it back on. It's not like tefillin, by the way. When you go to the bathroom, you take off your tefillin, you go to the bathroom, you have to make a new bracha. Why? Because in the bathroom, you're not allowed to wear tefillin. But talis, if you take it off, go to the bathroom, you put it back on, you don't make a bracha. Why? Because halachically, you could wear it in the bathroom. You don't, because out of respect to davening, you don't wear it. So the same thing, a gartel. You know, if you wear a gartel for davening, some people wear a gartel a whole day under their shirt, whatever. So then it doesn't matter going into the bathroom. But a gartel that you wear only for davening, the custom is you don't go into the bathroom with it. And therefore it's brought down also a kittel, the white thing that you wear on Yom Kippur, because you only wear it for davening. So again, when you go to the bathroom, you take it off. That's the meaning, just out of respect to the davening, not because of anything else. Okay, also, and one more last thing on Yom Kippur, before Mussar, we also say Yizkor. For those people that have departed, families that, parents or relatives that passed away, we say Yizkor. Now what happens in the first year that somebody has lost a parent? So there's different customs. Do you say Yizkor? Do you go out of shul? You know what? We're going to leave this for tomorrow next to